Hello, it's Kat, and welcome to the live tonight. Today, we're going to talk about demonstrating omnipotence. And if this is your first time to the live, this is a public live. And if you comment, your comments can be seen publicly. And so I want you to be aware of that. If you look below this post, there's another post that kind of gives you that idea. If you want to um, message us in the back. I'll be happy to address whatever it is that you want to share and not share. So I just hope that today finds you doing well, and I'm glad you're here. Today is this continuation of us talking about um, Biderman's work with the um, chart of coercion that he came up with in 1957. Albert Biderman, to be exact. He was a social scientist that wanted to understand why the men that came back from the Korean War were uh, having such issue assimilating back into society with this post-traumatic stress uh, injury, as I like to call it now. I heard that term the other day and I thought it was a good term. So, um, anyway, he did this work and he found these 8 steps or 8 tactics, I should say, not steps, but tactics that they used in that war, this coercive control that was used in that war in order to control people. And he realized that it had some correlation with the way that uh, domestic violence happens and domestic abuse happens in the world. So I want people to be aware of what those things are because if we know the tactics, if we can see the pattern of behavior, if we can see how it's affecting us, then we can fight against it in getting a better sense of self. So the first one is isolation. The second one is monopolization of perception. The third one is humiliation and degradation. Fourth is exhaustion. Fifth is threats. Sixth is occasional indulgences. Seventh is demonstrating omnipotence, which we're going to talk about tonight. And the last one is forcing trivial demands, which I'm also going to hit on tonight because I don't think it deserves a whole live in like 20 minutes. It's pretty short. So I'm going to include that forcing trivial demands in tonight's talk. But this this one we're talking about tonight, this demonstrating omnipotence, is as if they are a god. They have unlimited power over someone, and it suggests in Biderman's works, he suggests that it's futile to resist the abusers. And so when we think about that, and we think about um, you know the way that uh, they use the tactics that I was just talking about, you can see how that engages people to believe that there's no hope against going against those tactics. Isolation just isn't, you're isolated and can't go out. Isolation is more um, sneaky. Um, it's like this whole thing about like you go to see some people and you're in a car for Christmas or the holidays, and the abuser is yelling at everybody in the car. There's nowhere for people to go that are in the car. They are trapped. They are isolated. That monopolizes their perception. They don't have a way to just get out. Uh, the humiliation and degradation. They weren't expecting this to be a big blow up. But these kind of people are known for causing problems before holidays or birthdays, or you're trying to get a job kind of situation. They exhaust you because it's every day, all the time, and it's constant. The threats, whether they're verbal threats or their intimidation or their actual physical threats, the occasional indulgences, that's kind of that whole idea of love bombing, and that keeps you attached to them. And you see, in all of that, they're demonstrating that they have power and control over you if you don't understand what it is that they're trying to do to you. Came across a quote by, I forgot to write his name down. The quote is, "The omnipotence of evil has never resulted in anything but fruitless efforts. Our thoughts always escape from the other, always escape from whoever tries to smother them." And I think that's important. I think that last bit is really important for us to know that it's when these kind of abusers get into your thoughts and that you feel like you can't escape, but you can, because you can think differently. That's well, I put up some posts this week about the cycle of abuse. We read those cycles of abuse, and maybe they make you feel like, oh, I've seen that, I've felt that. But I think that if we understand what it is that they're trying to do in those cycles of abuse, because it's hard to get your footing if 1 minute you have somebody love bombing you and the next minute you have them raging at you. And so I'm hoping that understanding that this Biderman's work and these tactics that he talks about help you to see who the abusers are and what they look like and how they act. There's also some good work in the narcissistic traits. That doesn't take, I'm not going to get into the narcissistic personality disorder because that's for doctors and other people to do. That's not for me to do. But if we look at the traits show us what they may be high in. So if you look at one of the traits of narcissism, which I don't have in here, which is this idea of superiority, or you have this idea of entitlement, it's that same kind of feeling of them demonstrating that they're like a god. They have unlimited power over you. And they use these tactics that I'm talking about in this pattern behavior, which is coercive control. It's in racism, it's in sexism, it's in corporate, it's in government, it's in homes. And I think if coercive control is the underpinning of all abuse, then we should be talking about this. And this is part of that coercive control. And the last one I wanted to talk to you today about was this forcing of trivial demands. It seems weird because if they're trivial, then it must not mean much. But the trivials are what start to build on that taking power and control over you. And so I think about making sure you're calling them back every time they call you because they want to hear from you. That's trivial. But they rage if you don't. They want you answering all their calls. They want to know where you are. And this isn't about respect. This is about controlling you. Because if somebody cared about you, if somebody actually loved you, then when you were out with friends, they wouldn't be constantly messaging you. And then when you get home, they would ask you if you had a good time. But that's not what abusers do. And I think about this friend of mine that had this incident with a teacup. And so this person that was an abusive type person would put the teacup on a little um, piece of tile, a square piece of tile that was in on the cupboard, right above the dishwasher. But they wouldn't put the teacup in the dishwasher. And so my friend was constantly having to put the cup in the dishwasher, even though she asked and got exasperated, and even though she got irritated, and even though she left it. It was finally just saying, I'm just going to put it in here. I don't care, because it seems trivial. But that trivial thing of having you do something over and over and over again shows that they are building on that power and control over you. And so it's important for you to understand. So I hope that this little series that I did on Biderman's work helps you, because my last quote is from a lady named Margaret Mead. And Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, they're the only thing that ever does." And so that's in this building, this community, on Guardians War Cry and on the War at Home. If only someone knew, GWC on um, Facebook, and Guardians War Cry in YouTube. We're still building on the other apps. They'll come eventually. But we have other things that we feel are more important that will be coming, such as classes for people that are in these situations, so that they can help build their sense of self, because we have to have a good sense of self in order to fight people that are coercive like that, because there's nothing wrong with us as people who've been taken in by them. We're good people. We're trusting people. We're people who just want honesty in our relationships. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I hope this answers some of your questions. I hope that the series has helped. The next one I'll go into will be the narcissistic traits. And I'm going to try to throw in some other ones that I think would be good, along with some videos and, of course, the posts. So I hope this helps. And as always, please know that you are loved and cared for, and we'll see you, Loon. We'll see you, Loon. We'll see you soon.